Welcome back to Tales by Petanne. This is part 2 of Emeka and Chioma's story, a thrilling tale of love, betrayal, and secrets that bridge the living and the dead. If you haven't watched part 1, pause and catch up so you don't miss a thing. Make sure to subscribe, like, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Now sit back, grab your popcorn, and let's dive right in.
Chioma sat alone in her bedroom, staring at the pregnancy test. Positive, clear, undeniable. Her hands shook. "This is impossible," she whispered, tears streaming down her face. She hadn't been with any man since Emeka disappeared. No relationship, no mistake. Yet, her body was changing. Morning sickness, strange dreams, a constant cold warmth in her womb. That night, she dreamed. She stood in a wide, empty field. Emeka appeared, calm, gentle, glowing. He placed his hand on her stomach. "Our promise worked," he said. Chioma woke up screaming, her heart pounding. Terrified, she ran to the prophet. The moment she entered, he dropped his staff. "My daughter, you are carrying a child that was promised before death." She sank into a chair. "What does that mean?" she asked, her voice trembling. The prophet opened an ancient book. That man was an only child, the last son of his bloodline, and before he died, a prophecy followed him. He spoke slowly. "He will die before marriage. He will die before children, but his seed will return through a chosen woman." Chioma's eyes widened. "So the child is—" The prophet's gaze was steady, unwavering, not ordinary. That night, Emeka appeared again, fully visible. He finally spoke the truth. "I was born after many miscarriages. My parents were told I was their last chance. When I was 21, a village seer warned my mother, 'Your son will die young, but his spirit will not rest until his lineage breathes.' Emeka lived with that fear. He promised his mother, 'I will not die childless.' Years later, he died suddenly. No accident, no illness, no warning. But his soul refused to cross over. 'I didn't come back for love alone,' Emeka whispered to Chioma. 'I came back because my bloodline was calling.' Tears rolled down her cheeks. 'So I was just a means to an end?' she asked. 'Perhaps at first,' he admitted. 'But then I fell in love with you. And love made everything harder.' He paused. 'That's the twist, Chioma. Love complicated the prophecy.' He smiled sadly and disappeared. Strange things began to happen. Chioma's pregnancy progressed too fast. 6 weeks felt like 6 months. Shadows gathered around her at night. She ran urgently to the prophet. "The child is not just a child," he said gravely. Emeka's bloodline was spiritually guarded. An ancient covenant protected it, but something fed on it. If the child is born without protection, a powerful spirit will claim the baby. "This child can either break the curse forever or reopen the door between the living and the dead." One afternoon, Chioma went for a scan. The room was quiet. The machine hummed softly. After a long moment, the doctor spoke. "The ultrasound shows everything is progressing well." Chioma exhaled slowly. Relief washed over her face. "But is there anything I should be worried about?" she asked. The doctor did not answer immediately. His face tightened. He frowned. "The baby is healthy, but there is something strange." He turned the screen toward her. 2 heartbeats echoed in the womb. One steady, strong, alive. The other faint, weak, like an echo, refusing to disappear. Emeka appeared weaker each night. One night, Chioma asked, trembling, "What's happening to you?" "The closer the child comes to life, the farther I move from this world," he said sadly. The truth was cruel. For the child to live fully human, Emeka must disappear forever. No haunting, no watching, no return. "I waited 5 years to exist again," he said, smiling sadly, "but I will not steal my child's place among the living." He disappeared for the last time. The night Chioma went into labor, the sky turned violent. Thunder roared. Spiritual unrest shook the earth. Hospital lights flickered. The prophet arrived. He prayed fiercely. In the spirit realm, Emeka stood at a crossroads. A dark presence reached for the child's soul. "Not my child!" Emeka shouted. He made a final vow. "Take me instead. Let my child live free." A blinding light erupted. A baby's cry filled the room. The storm stopped. The baby was born, healthy, calm, glowing faintly. The prophet smiled in awe. "The lineage is complete." Chioma looked around, her voice a whisper. "Emeka?" There was no answer. For the first time, she felt peace. Somto grew fast. Too fast. He walked earlier than his mates. He spoke sooner. And when 10 years passed, he did not behave like a child. Chioma's son, Somto, was brilliant, calm, unnervingly mature. He rarely cried. He rarely played. Sometimes he only stared, like someone remembering things he never lived. Teachers complained. He talks like an adult. He knows things he was never taught. Sometimes he scares the other children. At home, the questions were worse. One afternoon, while sitting beside Chioma watching television, Somto spoke softly. "Mama, where is my father buried?" Chioma's blood ran cold. She forced a smile. "He's gone." Somto nodded slowly. "I know," he said. "I just wanted to know where." One night, Chioma awoke suddenly. Rain was falling. Thunder rolled. Somto was outside, barefoot, staring into the sky. "Somto, what are you doing?" He turned slowly. "He's calling me." Her heart stopped. "Who?" Chioma whispered. Somto tilted his head. "My father." Thunder crashed. Terrified, Chioma took the child back to the prophet. After long consultations, silence, prayers, the prophet finally spoke. "This child is not possessed." He swallowed. "But he is remembered." He explained the truth. Somto carried the unfinished spiritual weight Emeka left behind. If it was not resolved, the cycle would repeat. Soon, Somto began to draw. Strange drawings. A village he had never visited. A grave with a name written twice. A young man kneeling before elders. Chioma recognized them. They were Emeka's memories. She said nothing. That night, Chioma went to kiss him goodnight. He was already asleep. Then he spoke in his sleep. "I didn't finish it. I promised my mother." Chioma broke down. She kissed him and walked away in silence. The prophet finally revealed the truth he had hidden all along. The prophecy never ended with Emeka. The last son will die young. His child will live twice, once as a boy, once as a bridge. Somto was not just born to end a curse, he was born to close the door between worlds, forever. But to do that, he must return to the village, to the place where Emeka died. Chioma refused. "I won't lose my son." The prophet answered gently, "You will not lose him. but you must let him choose who he will become. The next day, they traveled from Lagos to Anambra State, back to Emeka's father's compound. They slept there. At dawn, they went to Emeka's grave. The prophet prayed. Somto stepped forward alone. The wind rose. The air thickened. Somto closed his eyes, and for a moment, I have lived. I have loved. I have kept my promise. A dark presence stirred, the same force that once waited for the bloodline to end. Somto raised his hand. You have no claim here. Light burst from the ground. The grave cracked, then sealed. The wind died. The door between worlds closed. Somto collapsed. Chioma screamed. Years passed. Chioma and Somto returned to the village one final time, to visit Emeka. The wind whispered gently through the trees, a story finally ending. They stood before the grave. Somto stared at the stone. "This is him, my father?" he asked softly. "Yes," Chioma replied, her voice trembling. "This is where your father rests." They knelt together. "Somto Chukwu," Chioma said, "it is time to say goodbye, for real." Somto placed his hand on the grave. "Father, thank you. I will live. I will carry what is right, not what was left behind." A sudden wind rustled the leaves. The sun broke through the clouds. No voices, no spirits, only silence, only peace. Chioma embraced her son. "He will always be part of you," she said softly. "But the past does not follow you anymore. You are free." Somto nodded. Together, they looked one last time at the grave, then turned and walked back toward the house.
Thanks for watching Tales by Petanne. If you enjoyed this story, please subscribe, like, and share your thoughts in the comments. More mysteries await. See you in the next story. Bye!